Today I'm going to show you my push day that I did like almost 2 weeks ago, and I'm going to go through a full day of eating to build muscle, Christmas edition. It's not really Christmas edition, just a few days till Christmas.
The first meal, we've got 300 grams of Greek yogurt, 100 grams of mixed berries, 25 grams of 85% dark chocolate, 30 grams of whey protein, and 45 grams of fruit and fibre.
Before we go over the eating, let's go through the training, because personally to me that is a bit more interesting than food, unless I'm lean, and I'm not. So yeah, let's move on to the training. Let's go. Starting off the push session with a overhead press, which I think a lot of people would question that exercise selection. Usually people would not program this in because of a lack of stability, because you're not seated. So you are going to generate less force, but the pros of the exercise definitely outweigh the cons for me. With my current shoulder instability, which I've now found out comes from the hips, I can't believe I've seen so many different people and it's taken this long to find out the actual issue. It's basically my hip internal rotation is extremely restricted, a little bit with the external as well, but that's kind of pulling on the lat and internally rotating my shoulder, and that's why I get that impingement. Anyway, we'll speak about that more another time. So yeah, this overhead press is in, allowing my scapula to move freely, trying to refine the scapulohumeral rhythm. I think, this exercise has a great potential for overloading. You get a good stretch on the delts. So it's a good exercise. It's time proven. Anyone with a strong overhead press is going to have big delts. And for me, when I do a shoulder press on the machine, as I progress the weight, although I should be as strict as I can with the movement, I know as soon as my delts are getting tired, my chest being a dominant muscle group will take over. I'll kind of flare the rib cage, kind of lean back a little bit, chest comes high, and the pecs do all the work. So whilst I'm standing with a barbell, that isn't going to happen. So I did 3 sets here, I think with 58.5, sets of 8 or 10, I'll have to rewatch it. And yes, I actually hit a PB today. I did that lift today and I hit 60 kilos for a set of 11. So I'm a little bit less weak at that now. Relative to my horizontal press with the barbell, it was shocking. Like I started off with like 5 reps with 60 kilos. So now I'm up to 11. I'm making progress, and I'm just basically going to run this movement into the ground and allow my delts to catch up with my chest. So yeah, I'm doing that twice a week. 1 session a week, I'll do it as a primary movement, the first press. The upper session, I do it as a third press. So the sets of 8 when I'm fresh, the sets of 10 when I have, I'm a bit more fatigued. Anyway, less the overhead press because we're about halfway through the session. Next movement, I'm using this Watson incline chest press. So the incline isn't too harsh or isn't too steep, so it doesn't require loads of external rotation, which is good for me. And obviously with my lack of stability in the shoulder, having a machine that provides external stability is very beneficial. I do 2 sets here, just top set, back off set, 8 to 10. I usually hit the 10 reps, to be honest. I don't really like going too low in reps with my own circumstances, and then the back off set at 11 to 15. I'm very pragmatic now with load increases. Like before, if I'd hit the 10 reps and my form was okay, I'd definitely increase the load, whereas now if I hit 10, I'm like, can I have made that set a bit better? I'll actually stay on that load for another week. So maybe that's a bit more maturity with my training as the years have gone by. But anyway, 2 sets there. Then I go on to 2 sets of this chest press with a neutral grip on this Nautilus machine. So with the elbows being a bit more tucked in, I can protect the shoulder joint, and I can just focus on kind of punching my elbows together to get a really good contraction with the chest. So yeah, same again with the rep range, 8 to 10, 11 to 15. And then I go into a chest fly, just spending time in the length of the range, spending time in the shortened range, 3 sets there, like 12 to 15 reps or 10 to 15 reps. And then after this, I'm not going to speak about chest fly, it's quite boring, isn't it? Let's go on to this part. We've got a lying cuff lateral raise. So for me, this is one exercise where I don't get neck pain when I'm doing lateral raises. As soon as my hips are sorted, I won't get neck pain on anything, I hope. But this, for me, works quite well. So again, just spending time in the lengthened range, spending time in the shortened range, just really thinking about just driving my elbows outwards and not thinking about getting the weight up, because then I'll end up shrugging the weight up. So whenever I do a lateral raise, I think about keeping as much distance as I can between my head and my shoulder. So if I do a lateral raise and that distance from here to here gets shorter, then I know my traps are going to be doing quite a lot of the work. And I'm not saying that you should kind of do a lateral raise with your shoulders jammed down, definitely not. Your scapula does need to move freely, but you don't want to be taking the piss. 3 sets here in high rep range, and then I go into tricep work with some isolations. So starting off with a straight bar push down, simple enough, just keeping the elbow tight to the body, getting right into the stretch without that elbow moving around, because as soon as my elbow comes too far forward, what's going to happen is, obviously, yeah, I'll move a bit more weight and take the set a bit further, but what's moving that weight? Probably not the tricep. So I also think about keeping my body as upright as possible, so I don't lean over, so the chest doesn't take over. And after this, so 3 sets there, and then I go into overhead extension with a long rope, just thinking about trying to, again, keeping that upper arm fixed, really spending time in that stretch position. And I don't really think about, obviously I'm shortening the tricep, but I don't think about spending time in the shortened range. I kind of just drive up there, come straight back in, spend a lot of time in the stretch, and go back in, and then towards the end of the set, I'll just take some partials. So that is the session. It feels like about forever since I did that session. It's got to be over 2 weeks ago.
Meal 2, nice and simple. 200 grams of chicken seasoned with Cajun, 125 grams of white rice. That is the raw weight, or raw weight with everything. We've got a chunk, I've not even weighed the veg, but peas, carrots. We're having some peri-peri sauce. As for the third meal of the day, it's not something I've cooked. Emily has cooked this little beast. She has pre-warned me that the sausages are a little bit overdone, but they're fine. We've got 3 Yorkshires. How much potato, Em? Oh, it's a bit steamy. A fair bit of potato. Mixed veg, broccoli, carrot, sweet corn, peas. Bit of gravy. There we go. The next meal is something I normally have on a Sunday morning, but we're getting very close to Christmas and routine kind of not goes out the window, but you know, I have a bit more flexibility. And what I mean by that is I still hit my protein, I still hit my calories. My macros are relatively close. Like I won't go from having 70 grams of fats and then 130 grams of fats the next day. But yeah, there's a bit more flexibility. We've got 4 slices of 50-50 bread, 3 poached eggs. We've got half of a extra large avocado, which is about 120 grams. Final meal, and this video was intentionally, no, not intentionally, initially, well, intentionally as well, going to be a full day of eating, but things have come up like last night, well, even last night, it was 2 nights ago, this day of eating, and yeah, so what I'm going to do, because I went out for a meal, I'm going to show you another meal on another day, because I'm so committed despite my, you know, I basically just jacked in the full day of eating. So let's show you this. This one is for the hard gainers. We're gonna have 100 grams of fat-free Greek yogurt. If you are a proper hard gainer, don't get fat-free. We're gonna have 30 grams of honey. We're gonna have 200 ml of semi-skimmed milk, so hopefully you're not lactose intolerant. We're going to use the rest of these blueberries, about 50 grams left. We're going to use 100 grams of pineapple, 30 grams of peanut butter, 30 grams of whey protein. You know what to do. My code, PWBRAD, that'll get you 40% off. I knew I'd forget something. We also need 60 grams of oats. Haha! Voila, amigo. Here we go. I hate doing outros and intros, but I've got to do it. So yeah, I hope you enjoy your Christmas. I'll see you in a couple of days for another video. But yeah, like the video if you want, subscribe if you want, and I'll see you soon.